Check, check. Your bird's eye view.
Keep moving. Even less people. Testing. Can everybody hear me? I'm good. All right.
Yes.
Pairing.
Yeah, I think we're going. Can anyone hear me? Testing, testing.
Yes. I can.
Perfect. All right, now we're up and running. So welcome to Leverage. All right, with all of us here. So we've got a group here in person, and then we also have a group online here. So we're excited. And so with that being said, let's get into it. And this conversation is more of a dialogue about what has to happen in order for us to do do our business, run our businesses in a fair manner and still have time back. All right, to be able to enjoy our families, enjoy our time. And because it's not just about business, it's about funding that perfect life and funding what it is that we're after, right? More time with our families. So do you want to kind of go over your thoughts on that general conversation, and then we can go into talking about the priorities and the importance of how we've kind of decided to move through this conversation today?
Yeah, that's awesome. I think it's always helpful to kind of start. This is a passion of mine to help other agents build leverage in their businesses, because it's how my business got built. I am a working mom and wife. Within 3 weeks of getting my real estate license, a brand new baby through foster care came surprisingly to our doorstep.
Wow.
I'm also married to my spouse, Jeff. If I know you personally, you know my story, but he's a quadriplegic from a diving accident. And so our marriage looks a lot different. And going into a career field that we're told you have to work every night, every weekend, do every open house, that wasn't going to work for me. And so that very first year, within the very first year, full year of real estate, I closed 20 transactions without barely stepping foot into what the industry told me I had to do to make that successful. That was 6.5 years ago. And moving forward, obviously, being a working mom, wife, running a team now, I've had the opportunity to have experience and build my skill. But at the end of the day, I know exactly what I want to be known for in the industry. I know exactly what I want my brand to stand for. I know exactly what my vision and the mission is. And all of it is built around values and the faith I want to protect in my life and the things that are important. And so I'm passionate about that because I want that for everyone else in the room as well, especially my KW family. I think we have a cultural binding of values that we probably a lot of us share. Through Keller Williams. I know it's a brokerage, a worldwide brokerage that attracts a lot of very similarly aligned people. And so with that being said, though, I think it's also something we can easily lose sight of in real estate and very quickly become drowning in success and in work and overworking, especially in a market that's one of the most hottest historical markets we'll probably ever see in our career time. It's easy to not take a day off. It's easy to put things aside that are actually more important than work, and find excuse for that. So with that, I came and sat with Brian a month or two ago and just shared my heart and just where could I be of service in this office. I love being able to take up, we're iron sharpen iron. And so with that, we're looking at kind of this building business around leverage, leadership, and then the area of skills. So I think those are our three main priorities or areas of focus. But obviously, that's my story. Those are the things that have been important to me, but each and every one of you have what's important to you. And I think Brian and I agreed, like, we just want to help you guys get to where you want to be of significance and success in your businesses while building around the values and life you want to protect. And this is how we would do it.
Everybody is going to have a different approach to it. It's going to look different for everyone, and that's okay. And that's why I respect and appreciate really what you said around how you came to this point of the necessity of how you had to operate your business, because there's other things that came first or come first versus real estate, and so that's why I felt that this was something that we obviously had to discuss and come up with a mastermind and getting ideas of what would it have to look like, keeping not just your story, Hector's story, anyone else's story, just keeping everyone's stories in mind around the priorities that we came up with and what we would have to do to implement. Because after this meeting today, it's strictly about implementation. So that's why I'm thrilled that we've got 11 folks who are participating on this online, and the folks who are here who are interested to hear about this. So with that being said, with no further ado, let's just get into the brainstorming around what we are going to find as the most important things for implementing our priorities. And so you mentioned the three priorities here, and for those of you who've never or haven't been in Keller Williams a while, or haven't had the opportunity to use what KW uses as a great planning tool or business planning tool, is called the GPS, right? And so it's goals, priorities, and strategies. And in those goals, priorities, and strategies, we have an opportunity to gain clarity around this. And I'm going to pull this up, and as I jump into the Zoom as well myself, so that way I can share my screen easily. What we have so far, and you mentioned it earlier, and let's start with the first one. And the first one being, give me a second. And I think we started in a particular order.
I think too, Brian, while you're looking for that, I think something to note is all these things that we're talking about, I believe these are at the root of our business. So everything else outside of this can flourish and grow. But if you don't have the ability to understand where to leverage in your business, how to build a successful business and build around skill, I just feel like it's going to be very difficult to go out and do the big things, the pipe dreams that you have in your own business building, the things that you want to accomplish, jumping into other marketplaces, other places within the industry. It's going to be a very challenging thing if we don't know our numbers, if we don't know why we're doing this and how we're going to get there. It's going to be very hard to be able to successfully take off. And you might jump into a new pond, but a lot of times we'll drown if we don't have the ability to know leverage and the skill level that it takes to be in that pond.
Well, you're right on. This is a business conversation at the end of the day, right? And so that's why you and I have talked about certain classes like ESO, right? Expansion System Orientation. Just because you take expansion system orientation doesn't mean you have to expand. It's more of a business course on everything that you'd want to know prior to taking on, the big endeavor of, expanding your business. So, just keeping that in mind as we're going through this conversation today. Ryan. Yeah, I think it was, yeah, Dolores, did you have a question?
No, I didn't have a question. I don't know who this young lady is. I just want to say that you really made my day because when you mentioned about family, my husband had a bad accident and he's still recovering. And he's alive though, and I'm able to go on with my business with KW. I just want to thank you because I thought I was all alone with this. I really appreciate you. Thank you very much. I needed to hear that.
Oh, thank you. We're not alone, but I think just the world tells us we're alone. So that's why we're here today. So we can figure out how to go forward and be who you need to be to the people in your life and serve them well, all while being able to show up for your husband first and show up for yourself first, and then
I'm learning
serve
time
outside of
management.
that place.
That's the
Yeah.
main thing. Thank you
Yeah,
so much. I didn't
yeah.
mean to get a little emotional, but you
My,
really touched my heart.
Dolores, my heart is full.
Oh, I know. Mine
My
is
heart,
too.
my heart is full. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So as we look at our three priorities, and right now it may look a little bit bare, and it is because this is our goal today is for us to get your ideas on what would have to happen in order for us to build this together and how we're going to implement. So our overall goal for our strategy or for our segment today is, and we came up with a modest 25%, right? And let me actually move my screen here so you can, our folks here in the group can see this. So yeah, we came up with a modest 25% growth production increase over the year. So whether that be units, volume, typically when your units increase, your volume increases by nature. So we said a modest 25% on average. So if you chose to be a part of this group and you were able to use, the strategies or basically curriculum, if you will, the goal would be that your business grew a minimum on an average as we're tracking it, we're having communication, 25%, right? Nothing too crazy. So first, though, we talked about the leverage curriculum. Keller Williams has certain courses already, and you see their ESO, and I mentioned to that expansion system orientation is one of them. What other courses, what other? Let me open it up to everyone, and we can maybe come up with certain courses that you've been to, I've been to, you've been to, Hector. That we could add in. So if you were to get to the point of what Sarah experienced, or what some of us have experienced, what would you have to know in order for you to be able to have additional leverage? Now, it doesn't matter if you're brand new today, you've been in a business solo for years, or you've already have a team. If the goal is to increase your production, let's say by 25%, or you put your number in there, what would you have to know that you're not currently aware of in regards to how to operate a business that we could address in this forum, this group, on a regular basis? What would come up? Feel free to throw it in the chat or ask a question. Sandy,
Oh,
I'm watching.
sorry, you guys, look, I'm sneaking, but look, there's no students right now. I just have to do this disclaimer. It's my prep period. I'm so excited. I get to be a part for a few minutes till our bell
Yeah,
rings.
I love this.
I need systems, you guys, because I can work. If I have systems, I could work any time of day. I could work at midnight if I kind of pre-plug things in and kind of get systems in place, because I am dual career, but I'm 100% in. Like I want to just build this, grow this. So in 3 years, when I walk away from my current career, I can be ready to run. I don't want to walk, I want to run. So I need systems. That's what I need. Like the systems that work the best. That's what I need to put into place and build and grow.
Now, so I love that. Are we talking like plug and play systems, or more of like an idea of what systems to create? Are you talking?
Well, a couple things. So marketing, I've been working with Lorraine, and we've been like working smarter, not harder. So we both kind of just divide and conquer, and we do a lot of marketing now. And I'm looking into Every Door Direct, because that's a very plug and play. Like once you create and you set it up, it's very systematized, and your marketing can be going out. And then Also like a CRM with maybe a weekly email that's going out that I can get in front of the ball. Instead of being reactive, I want to be proactive. So I need
Yeah.
those systems set up.
Before your bell rings, Sandy, I'm excited you're here. I think something that's super exciting about this class is not only do we need to maybe add some new systems, but we need to learn how to leverage the ones we have. And so often we already have what we need at our fingertips, but the whole point of leverage is maximizing on the resources that are at our fingertips. And I want to help encourage people to look already within your team. And a lot of people go, I'm a solo agent. Do you have a TC? Do you have an escrow? Do you have a lender? Do you have a title rep? There are so many people that are already on our teams that we can be maximizing and leveraging. We need to be looking at our businesses on a monthly basis of what do I need to automate? What do I need to delegate? And what do I need to eliminate? And all of that comes into leverage. And then we can look outside of that and going, let's add more systems. But I think I get excited because I think that we already have so many resources at our fingertips here at KW and probably already on your desk that I think the most valuable thing is being in a room together to mastermind that, being on Zoom together so that we can hear each other. So many times you go to a conference, you learn a lot, you go by a lot, you're influenced a lot, you're inspired a lot, but it doesn't break it down enough where it's like, okay, Sandy, let's talk. Who is it in your world? Let's talk about what's on your desk today. What are you doing today that if you gave that up, you'd be able to grow by 25% by the end of the year? Because that's there. But sometimes we need other people to help us see that and to lean into that and help to be able to know where else in our business we can leverage, right?
Yeah, totally agree with that.
Accentuate, eliminate, and delegate. That's like, because when we want to do, we think we have to do, but you're absolutely right about delegate. Like every door direct, once I delegate that system over, I don't have to do it, and then eliminate. There's so many things I think we all have done that don't equate to dollars earned. So I love eliminate and delegate too.
So one
Automate.
thing, so one thing that I want to introduce our director of growth. So we added in Alexandra, and she doesn't know I'm going to introduce her today, and so she's got this look on her face. So she's new to the Market Center as team, and she's not going to say anything, right? I just want to introduce her as she likes to be prepared, and she wasn't prepared for that. So and so there was a look of relief that we're all missing right now, and yet to this point, a part of her role is around understanding the resources that we have in KW. So command, like workshops, regular scheduled workshops in office, that as well as we can host hybrid over Zoom as well, and also knowing that we all have access to Scott Leroy. You know, he did a presentation for our office about a few weeks ago, and I was amazed about what he offered. And I've known about the guy for years now. And so to that point of eliminating, delegating, and just overall being aware of what the uses are, things like that. And then having, say, Alexandra who can say, hey, reminder, we have this, and you can use this in these ways. So whether it be, a lot of us may not know how to implement a domain, right? So we bought, brianarahan.com. You can't buy it because I bought it. However, if I wanted it to forward to my mobile app link, so anytime that one of my clients wanted to download my mobile app, instead of having to forward them the weird www.kwapp.67ng, right? I can, hey, just go to brianarahan.com and you can, right, get access to my mobile app, right? And a lot of us don't know how to do that, and yet Scott Leroy can help you point your domain, your unique, URL or website address to anything that you want, right? So just knowing the fact that we can do that is important. What else? Sandy, you're getting us started. So systems. So I have here, and we'll come up with more clarities. We just want more strategies, specific tactics that would help. And you're giving us some good examples. Any more additional examples of systems, whether it be marketing, technology, anything that we can work to put together, all you can use resource guide for how to get it set up. And if not systems, anything else, Sandy or anyone else out there who wants to share. What else comes to mind? With all these amazing people in here. I'm gonna start calling people out. All right, Hector, please. No, yeah, well, this is for the others.
Well, I'll just make a comment because when Sarah started, I think it's important that you guys, everybody understands that, you know, at the core of everything was her values, and what was important to her was obviously family and so forth, you know. And so when you build out your systems and when you do anything, it's all built around that. That comes first. So when I put my calendar at the beginning of the year, I put the family first, and I'm choosing the dates that we're going on vacation, the dates that we're doing this or that. And then comes the business, you know, because I wrote a comment, I read this, somebody said this before, but same thing what you're saying is when your values are clear, your decisions are easy. And
Yeah.
so it's not hard for me to, you know, in the past, I remember being at a game, and I was, my son's game, and it hadn't started yet. So I took a call, and it was somebody that wanted me to run over to take their listing. And I told them, you know what, I'll be there in a few hours, you know? And by the time I was done and I was going to go down there, they had already taken the listing. So that was my, I don't know, $15,000 game I talk about, you know, sometimes. But it's important, you know, that these systems are built around your, you know, your values are first, you know, and families first and all that and so forth. So that's all. Just wanted to- Yeah. Right.
I think another thing is time blocking. I've read a lot of books. Oop, there's a bell. Time blocking is really important because if it's important to you, you have to put it on schedule, just like you're saying, use your values. But if I need to learn new systems or I need to put the time into creating that system, I need to time block it because it's essential and I need to make sure it happens. It's non-negotiable. Doesn't matter what time of day you give to it, but you got to make sure that it gets put on the calendar because myself, first year, I got transactions and I really didn't have any systems in place. But then that took all of my time and that's fine because obviously it was money earning opportunities. But at the same time, I have to go back now and do what I didn't do year one, which I was lucky to get busy year one. But I still need to go back and do it. So I have to time block for what's essential and then going to lead to giving me more free time once it's set up.
Yeah, yeah, I love that. And so I wrote that down. So if we could talk about, you know, systems implementation and make systems implementing easier. I also wrote down time management. So learning about what it takes to, like, from what I understand, Hector, you went out and you planned out for the whole 365 days of the year when you're going to be with your family, the family days, family trips, family vacations, and now you're plugging in work in between that, and now you get to sprint between vacations, sprint between time off with your kids, your family, right?
Right.
So I love that, and yet most of us don't sit down to implement that discipline, so that way we just go until we crash and burn, and then we recuperate, and that recoup time typically takes twice as long because we went longer than we should have. So I love that. So time
I gotta run.
management,
Thanks,
time
guys.
blocking. Was somebody else gonna say something?
No, I just said I have to run. Thanks, guys. I'll catch the rest on the video.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's being streamed online for the Facebook page. So this is great. What else? Any other thoughts or ideas around this concept, systems implementation, time management, time blocking? This is for so far, the leverage curriculum. What else would we need to know in order for us to hit it out of the park? What are we thinking? Leverage wise, what don't you know that you need to know in order to better leverage your business? This is for you.
Is there anyone in the group that doesn't know what they want to be known for in real estate? Does anybody not have that clarity? Because that I would love to, for me, oh, do you have something, Ryan? Oh, no, you're good. Here, let me finish this thought real quick and then I'll hand you the mic. But I love what Hector said in that we have to have such clarity at the root of what we're building before sometimes we even know how we're going to leverage things, because that can get so muddled in our head if we don't know why we're going to implement that. And so I would, love to offer the idea of even just having an offline mastermind of like, how can we help people? For me, it's Purpose Life Homes. I live with purpose, on purpose, on my purpose. But that's my brand, right? That's who I've attached myself, that word I attach to. But it's at the end of the day, like I know the purpose that I'm doing my work. I know the purpose of how I'm showing up for people. I know deep down. So when I go and I know something's wiggly and loose and needs some oil and refinement in my business, I know how that needs to happen, or I need to go find the resource to do that to make it be better. And sometimes I think we can get so muddled in all these systems and not actually know why we're implementing them. And then, leverage costs money. Leverage costs money. And that 25% sometimes goes right back into my business to take me to the additional 25% in the next year. Because for me, I want to take it and move it forward. I know everybody wants that, but leverage costs money. And so why waste money on things that we don't know are going to actually help our business? So that's a question I have, is everybody, and I guess it's kind of like a big question to answer, I guess, on Zoom with a raised hand, but that's a question. Do we even know what we are chasing? Do we know why these systems are going to help? Because at the end of the day, what these systems for me mean, I'm building playbooks to duplicate myself.
All right.
I am, every little thing I'm doing in my business, I'm building a playbook and I want to duplicate that. I leave every July and I'm gone for a month. My business runs around July. It runs around my vacation time with my family. For 2 weeks of my month, I have no router. I have no Wi-Fi. My phone is off. I have a landline and it calls 911 and the neighbor if I need sugar or something. No, I'm just kidding. But the point of that being, that can only happen with leverage, so that when I leave, Adrienne, one of my team members, is in the room, I can hand my playbook over and she can run with that. And she knows the systems and the way we leverage our business, so she can pick that up and make up for the lost time that I'm out, vacationing. And I want that for my team as well. So I think that's just something at the root of that. And I think sometimes the silence of all the, trying to figure out the ways we can, leverage systems is hard if we don't really know what we're trying to leverage. So,
Well, you said something there, and as we transition to Ryan real quick, I wrote down, and this is again, I'm building out the strategies here because this is great. Implementing, Keller Williams calls it your MVVP, right? So your mission is what you're talking about. Well, why am I doing what I'm doing, and who am I doing it for? Your vision, where are you going, and why are you going there? Your values, obviously. What's the core and what makes you tick? Beliefs, what do you believe is possible in your business, and your perspective, right? How do you see yourself operating around the people that, or how do you want to be perceived in the community?
I love that. And on the value piece, I think so many of our systems too, they need to support our value proposition. What are we going out to offer as our services to people? What are we bringing into the marketplace that is unique to us and authentic to our brand and authentic to the way that we treat people and reach them? The systems need to be able to support that so that it's all connected and it's all in. If marketing looks different for you, then certain marketing platforms and systems aren't going to work. Certain people they're going to run their businesses differently, and we want to look and feel different to the people that we serve than the guy that took the listing in front of you. And I love that story because I think part of all of this, Brian, we have to know how to say no. We say it on our team. You need to know your best yes. We're always applying our best yes, which means we say no a lot, and we treat everything like a listing appointment. You'd never get up and go to another listing appointment in the middle of a listing appointment. Right. So my family is a listing appointment because in sales world, that's what's important. We love that. I mean, everything's important. But we, for us agents, we're always pushing for listings. We know that behind the scenes. That's a big thing for us. And so why would you ever get up in the middle of a listing appointment to go take a listing appointment, right? You wouldn't. So sometimes we beat ourselves up when we miss opportunity like that, when really getting comfortable with your values and who you want to be and be known for helps you to walk away from those with confidence. So I love that example. Here you go, Ryan.
I'm good. I think it was Hector who said it earlier. My family comes before my work. I think that's one thing that I'm not an agent, but I do photography as a side hustle, and I love what I do. I love doing it here. I love doing it as a side hustle. But I think one thing that I really struggle with is realizing when I do need a break, when I am working too much, when my body and my brain when my body's telling me, take a seat, but my brain's telling me, but we have 6, 7, 8, 9 things we need to do by 6 p.m. tonight. And if we don't get it done, then all of this money is going out the window. And I think a big thing about leverage is learning when you need to tell yourself to take a break. When you need to take that time to go to your family's gathering or your son's baseball game or your daughter's dance recital or whatever it may be. How did you learn when to tell yourself to take a break? What were the steps you took to kind of to say, all right, brain, shut off, let's enjoy this time? How did you teach yourself to do that?
No, that's a great question. And I would say I need a break. I've blocked off my weekend. We've been running hard and fast. One of my business mentors once taught me that business looks, when you're growing your business, there's 3 little cycles within the cycle. There's 3 little steps. And I think it's a great metaphor. There's the building time frame where you're kind of slowed down. It's like pushing a boulder up the hill, right? Up the mountain. And it's just like, it's heavy, it's hard. There's times you have to stop and hold it up and take a break, but you're building slowly and you're getting that rock to the top. And then you get to the top and that rock just starts to kind of pace and lead with the rock. There's a time you might have to push it along. It'll roll by itself. You can jog a little, your breath, and you're kind of, in a different place of your business. But then there's the part where that rock caught up and now you're going down the hill and the rock's on your back chasing you down. And that's where you grow the most. For me, that's where I grow the most, because everything I built up here and kept pace and led, everything comes from experience, but our growth doesn't come from our experience. Our growth comes from reflecting on our experience. So as I'm getting chased down the mountain, which I think a lot of us probably are right now in this market, there are times where I feel like I'm going to fall flat on my face. And if I don't take the break that I need this weekend, I can do that. I'm not perfect. I don't say no all the time in the way I should, but it's the reflecting on that experience that teaches me to say no confidently next time. And usually, I think a lot of it is a conditioned behavior, a conditioned response, that you feel the result is so good when you do the hard thing. When you say no, and then all of a sudden tomorrow, these other opportunities arise, and it's like, that wouldn't have been there tomorrow had I not said no yesterday. And so I think you have to start to learn that there are that come from no and good things that come from rest. And you can only be as good as you can be, and you only serve out of an abundance. And so if you're not completely filled out and overflowing, you can't serve out of that. So I'm getting drained and it's time to fill up. So that's a great question.
Oh yeah. Hi everyone, it's Mercedes. Burnout is real, and we can speak to it once we've gone through it, but until, unfortunately, you have to experience it firsthand to get it. And I will tell you, Brian was on me about burnout because I was the yes to this. Yes, 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 yes. I am killing it. Yes. And he was like, look, pace yourself. And I was like, yeah, you don't know what you're talking about, even though he knows everything. But when you're in it, you just want to go. And when I hit that burnout, I'm telling you, I hated real estate. I was like, why am I doing this? I don't want to talk to anybody, XYZ. And then Q1 was dead because of that burnout in Q4. So being able to set yourself up, set your business up. One thing that Gary Keller always speaks to is schedule your time off first, and then this and everything around that. So, just being mindful. And when you feel it, our bodies are very smart. Your mind, your body, when you feel it, listen to it, because there's no amount of money that can subsidize your health, period. So, right.
After this topic, we're going to go on to leadership and then skill building, because that's a big one too.
Okay, so I think it would be kind of cool to ask you, Sarah, because you talked about your first year and then you realized, okay, you need to leverage your business. So what did that look for you? What did that look like to you when you did hire your assistant consistent, and what did they do for you that took that, gave you that time and took some things off your plate? Like, what did they do?
So I think it goes back to the P in the MVVBP, the perspective. I think that it wasn't like it was perfect or anything, but I think given the circumstance that I had, I've almost had to build a business all around the hours of 9 to 3, Monday through Friday, because kids are after that and pickup and things like that, with maybe one evening a week that I can dedicate out. But with that being said, it costs money. It costs investment of myself. I jumped right into coaching. To be honest, I know not everybody, it's not that I don't want you to think I was like had a ton of money. I didn't, but it was, I was shopping at Goodwill for my suits because I couldn't afford a nice suit, but I went out and I faked it till I made it. Every Tuesday and Thursday, I went and picked Goodwill, and I tried to find the newest looking clothes that I could wear so that I could show up to an appointment looking the part that I wanted to become. I was faking who I wanted to become up in that space. That's leverage. I leveraged my outfits. I leveraged the time that I could maximize on the $10 I could go get at least a jacket. And the day I got to actually buy my first like good, nice suit, but I was paying $1,000 a month for coaching. So I was paying $5 and $10 for my clothes, but I was paying $1,000 for coaching. And it really went back to the skill building where I leveraged and where I don't know that I knew about leverage at that point. To me, I was in university mode. My perspective was, this isn't about that check. I think so often in real estate, our first year robs us of the lucrative like check that comes, that lucrative ability to make money. It's like such a lucrative field that we work in. That's awesome. But if our perspective is failing us and all of a sudden we see, oh my goodness, that's what I made. And then we go spend $1.10 for every dollar we make when we're not really pouring in back into the business and the learning and the leverage and the systems that we need to keep it going forward. Yeah. That's where I think we go into like kind of the skill building part of it, because that's a big part. We have to be pouring into our business and into ourselves. And so I've never not had a TC. It's just kind of, I find the value when, one of the things we do is we always do upfront pre-listing inspections. Every time I tell an agent that, they say, how much does that cost? Wrong question. It should be priceless, because guess what that's done for me and my sellers in this market. So a lot of it's perspective. It goes back to that P. And if we can help people change that perspective and just help you change a perspective to get you where you want to be and who you want to be known for, I think we would all be in a better place, maybe over 25% growth.
Yeah, and the way I would answer that as well is going back to perspective is be clear on what you don't do well and add that to the job description of the person that you're partnering with next, right? So your not to-do list. And we can have a not to-do list for your personal, you can have a not to-do list for your business, and then being very clear on both and go from there. So not to-do list for the personal might be outsourcing getting your car washed, outsourcing cooking at home, outsourcing your dry cleaning or your laundry, cleaning your home, right? That could be something that you outsource and leverage there. The other thing for your business could be, making emails, creating emails to go out, content to put out to your database. Could be, social media posts, whatever it is. And there's various companies that you can invest in for a lesser amount until you can afford to hire an admin to do it for you, right? So, you can leverage that, and there's going to be various
college intern.
Yeah, absolutely. And by the way, that's something that we're going to be working on in the latter half of the year is building. We're working on it now. It won't be ready until probably second half of the year. Is an internship program for the local colleges here because there's so many people looking to get into real estate right now. So to that point, I want to jump over leadership, and we're going to get right into skill building. And I think this is something that folks could really jump in on. And I'm going to expect, let me go down the list here. Cynthia, both Cynthias, Ernesto, Howard, Jenny, Jocelyn, Keenan, Mike, Tasik, and User, whoever User is. I would ask for you to jump in on Dolores is too. Obviously, how can I forget you? All right. So, right, B, I want you to jump in on this next one. What skills do you feel you still need to know in order for you to be successful in understanding success through leverage? Like for instance, Sarah and I and DC Listing Press here, that's a skill, should you master, would give you time back to invest in other areas, right? Being able to handle a variety of taking more seller listings, objection handling, pricing property, right? That's another skill. Should you master, would it get you more time back? Because the better you price property, the quicker they sell, the better, more referrals you get, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So what skills do you still feel are necessary? And again, Dolores, I saw you came off mute. And yeah, this is not just for you, this is for everybody, right? So no pressure there. And at the same time, for anyone out there, what skills do you still feel you would need to know or master or understand that would help make the biggest difference in getting you closer to that increase of, say, 25% production for the year?
I'll go first. It's perfectly okay. I wasted a lot of time, and I'm not going to go into detail about that, but I figured out time management. I work from home, which is a good thing. But right now, my weakness right now is marketing myself. I'm just now getting around to getting with Leroy Scott, and I'm watching a lot of tutorials. I role played yesterday, and I am just now starting. I don't know if you guys can see this big packet right here. I stole all my husband's contracts to get emails and phone numbers. So kind of just swiped them out. But for me, I need to learn more about the KW command. I'm stuck on that, sending out designs. I kind of put a packet together from one of my buyers, which is being pre-qualified all over again. And I'm having some trouble with that. If I can get past that, the leverage, the time management, I'm on that already. And I'm just now learning how to keep up with my numbers.
So from what I'm hearing you say, and if you would maybe clarify for me, the big strategy for you would be, is it more going digital in certain,
Yes,
sense, or-
yes, correct. As far as the designs, KW, like now I'm over and putting probably over, oh God, I don't know how many contacts, emails, and addresses. It's a
Okay.
database that we both have had for years, and I'm finally going to utilize it. So I need to focus more on the marketing, and I did put in to get with Scott Leroy. Haven't heard anything yet, but I've been watching the tutorials, and that's my biggest problem right now. I feel like once I get past that, sky's the limit.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so from what I'm picking up there is having clarity on your best approach to marketing, and yet you're taking your steps in building your database. So
Yes.
for instance, here's an example, and I don't know that this could fall more in under leverage, say priority one. So having an intake form. So
Mhm.
for instance, every single time you have a new client, are you handwriting it, or is it going into a spreadsheet of some form, or some type of Google form or something like that, where you can automatically add it in, and then that gets added to your database. You have a record of it, and you can later on add to your database later. So something like that, to where you don't have to, because there's a lot of, I've been there, death by sticky notes, right? And you note, you put it in different notepads, and all of a sudden, all your leads, somebody says they want to buy, sell, or invest, they're all over the place, and then you forget about calling them back.
Or you just forget what the note, like if you
Yeah,
don't take the note, you're
exactly.
like, oh, I remember 3-bedroom, 2-bath. You're
Yep.
like, what was their name?
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
I totally get what you're saying. And that's why I took all of his proposals and contracts. I got a big old stack right here. And I'm gradually putting 10 to 15 in the contacts in KW. And then once I can get more insight as how to do this, how to do that,
Yep.
then I can kind of move them over, start my network, da, 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 da. I'm getting there. I'm a little slow, but I had like I said, life's obstacles get in the way, and we have to be big girls and big men, and we have to keep on pushing.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm at right now.
Can I
Please.
add something in there? Just as we're growing in systems and things like that, you slow down to speed up, right?
Yes.
But while we're slowing down to speed up, to Mercedes' point, what she's talking about burnout could also be while we're building new systems.
Yep.
All of a sudden next quarter, it's like, I have nobody. And then it trains our brain to think we can't slow down to speed up. So while you're doing that and you're inputting all those people, I would just encourage you to have an action step now with the people you're touching base with or you're putting them in. Maybe pick a topic you want to throw out to people, and every day while you're putting 15 in, reach out to at least 5 of those people on an individual
Correct.
text or call or email, and have a touch point while you're getting them in, because we have this ability to think that we're working, even though you are, but we're not doing lead generating, money making behaviors in that moment. So combine the two. I would add that skill point in there as we're building systems.
So I wrote down database management, right? That's a skill that most agents could utilize better, is the practice of how they notate their clients, what they need, when to follow up, all of those things, and recording it in a manner where you don't forget about it, those type of things. So that'll be something that we'll definitely add in and work off of. Again, we're creating a curriculum right now, and what our topics of discussion and these activities will be added to our training calendar as we go. So when we come back, this is not just empty conversation. We're gonna be building our training calendar off of these. I'm going to trust that when you see these hot topics here, we're showing up because we're accumulating off this discussion. What else might be top of mind? Pearl, you came off of mute. Anything you want to share? I'm watching the mute buttons here. That's how I do this. That's how we do it, is we want to know what's going on. Pearl, you want to share? Anyone else? I'm just picking on you because your mute was off. No? How about anyone else? Anyone else? Other skill building ideas? Questions, thoughts?
Well, she already said it, the host. She said it, like putting that information in the database, but reaching out to the clients also. And so I figure if I do 15 a day and call, if I can try to do 15, but I want to keep it at a minimum because there's family and other things that we have to do. But yeah, that was right on. That was really good. That's a good path to take.
Thank you for that. And I'm writing that down. So contact efficient, let's just say efficient prospecting, efficient prospecting methods of
Yeah.
how to work better and more efficiently when connecting with clients. Sure.
And I get it. Just don't put the information in their contact. So we'll have something to put in. Well, they're in this status, that status. I think that's what she was saying. Am I?
Yep.
Okay, got it.
Absolutely.
Hey, I just wanted to reiterate what you said was really, I don't know if anybody caught it, but what Sarah shared earlier was really the key of what, helped her, I think, is she said she got into coaching.
Yep.
And we're talking about skill building and so forth. And I got into coaching too a long time ago. And you talked about investing in your business, and putting money in your business and some of the things you do for your listings and so forth. And really, like you said, it really comes back to, this is a business. You need to take some of that money and put it back in and invest in yourself. And that to me is huge. That's really key, because I've invited different agents to different events or what have you, but they don't want to spend the $300, the $400 or whatever, and I'm like, okay, and they're always they stay where they're at because they don't invest in themselves, I still, to this day, I mean, there's a lot of great stuff on, you guys have mentioned KW, and on MAPS coaching, there's classes you take for that are $300 or $200, and
Super
it's on
affordable.
skill building, and
Super
stuff.
affordable.
There's
That's
just
right.
a ton of stuff out there, but that was huge.
Thank you for that. Good point. Thank you for that. What else? What else on skill building? What would you feel that you would need to know in order for you to grow your business by at least 25% by the end of the year? What skills haven't you developed yet?
I would say getting comfortable with the scripts, choose one that you can memorize and that's not so complicated, and go with it. That helps out a lot too. And then eventually you won't even need that piece of paper anymore. For
Yep.
me, when I go out to show a property, I have that script in my folder. Nobody knows what I'm looking at. They're not gonna
Yep.
go, hey, what are you reading in there? So
Mhm.
yeah, that's a good tool also.
Yeah, I love that. So scripts and dialogue conversion.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I spelled. Yeah, so Mercedes, I
Hi,
think you have
Zoom
some.
land. I keep forgetting this mic. I mentioned also, anything around mindset is also a great skill set to have. Something like bold, which helps you eliminate limiting beliefs on the I can't, I won't, this, I think those things are important too, because you can have all the skill set with your business and not know what to do with it if you have a limiting mindset on how to execute. So is that a pivotal part of what we're building here? It could be like a sub, a sub motion too. I think mindset's important.
Yeah, so I have mindset in here. We can discuss where it goes. I think it's in the mix of whether it be skill, or even potentially the leadership end, because you've got to develop the mindset first to go from it's all about me, 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 to you know replicating yourself, like you mentioned earlier, Sarah, right? So I think it's a combination thereof. So I'm just going to put it under skill building for now, the mindset piece, and then just literally we'll just go from there. I think that's good, because we got to know, why we're using it, and also be willing to get back up in the event that we get beat up, right? There's those days where, where you think things are going great and they're they may not by the end of the day, right?
And I
Uh, transformational coaching. Yeah, transformational coaching is also there. So I put it mindset, right? So having courses or classes or sessions that we can go back to that are going to hit mindset. Perfect.
And I know we're almost out of time, but I also think at the very end of all of it, Brian knows this about me. Everybody at KW Vision knows numbers. We
Know your
have
numbers,
to
yes.
know our numbers.
Numbers.
But that's a skill, because we also it gets overwhelming, like what we need to know about our numbers. And that's something when we come into real estate, we forget we're actually starting a business, and starting a business comes with a lot of knowledge of numbers and the things that we have to spend money on that we don't want to, knowing our budget, knowing the
ROIs, yeah.
plan, knowing that what we make is not what we really make. But at the end of the day, also knowing our numbers to move forward on the choices we make for leverage and skills and leadership and all the different things that we can grow by. But I can't push knowing your numbers enough. I literally have a spreadsheet. The girls make fun of me. I can pull it up right now if you want to see it. I have a spreadsheet that has all my pending or my close with my GCI, my volume. It says everything in the spreadsheet. You go down, it's all my actives, it's my pendings, it's my shared files, and then it has my pipeline. And where I hang out most of my morning day is staring at my pipeline. And my pipeline's broken up into quarters. So I already have told those people in my mind when they're going to have their limit of buying, because my pipeline's healthy. And that's something, building a skill of learning how to fill your pipeline so we don't have 90-day burnout and fallout and these 90-day up and down. The goal would be to not be on a roller coaster ride, but just be a steady stream up with our businesses. But that really is rooted in knowing our numbers and knowing how to kind of leverage that.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. Good stuff. This is really good stuff. Any other thoughts as we come to our closing? So I believe, Sarah, thoughts, Hector, thoughts, Mercedes, thoughts, and anyone else who wants to share. The well, real quick, leverage. In order for us to get, and I think our priorities are a little bit out of order here because we have leverage, first, which was number one, and yet I think the skill building should be number one, right? Well, knowing the numbers, because leverage is effectively leading others and leading ourselves first, so that way we can get to the point of having the opportunity to lead others. And so my epiphany today, AHA, is focusing on a curriculum that would help us know the numbers, make sure that everything else is dialed in, and we'll sprinkle in the other things that we just talked about, whether it be, like, for instance, building your mission statement, your vision statement, your values, beliefs, all of those things, time management, time blocking, energy management, all the things that we've started to notate, systems implementation. I think we can marry the two. And then number 3 is, so, like, first, second, bouncing between the first two, and then number 3 being, how do we start to lead others? How do we go from a solopreneur to, having multiple people that we're responsible for, whether it be admin, agents, etc. Because until we hone the first 2 priorities, I don't know that we have the right to move to the third.
Well, and something to add real quick to that, Brian, why leadership's so important is because I remember I was working so much on my skill as a salesperson, an individual salesperson, what to say, how to say, when to say it, and why I'm saying it, right? All those things of like how, why, when, all the W's and the H, right? But at the end of the day, when I was moving over to start a team, because that was my dream, was to build others and lead others and grow other people, I realized those skill set for the salesperson, so often in real estate, we're taught to believe that now you just go start a team because you're overwhelmed. But I wanted to start a team because I wanted to lead people. And my leadership skills were not the same as my skills for leading myself, more or less leading my business, getting my appointments. It was a different skill set. And so that was an epiphany for me the day I woke up going, my leadership development needs to go up, and I need to invest now in the skills of being a leader for other people. And so they're different, but they're the same. But they all connect. But at the same time, when we're going to go out and lead other people, that's a whole nother set of skills.
It's a must. It's a must. Thank you for this. All right. Hey, before we wrap up any session, I like to take away three to four ahas. What were you made aware of that you didn't know, that you may want to work on, choose to work on, prior to leaving the day? This is a pointed question. Obviously, anyone here and our Zoom folks who maybe haven't shared yet, what were your key takeaways from our session today? That AHA stands for Agents Helping Other Agents. So meaning you may find something that you took away that you share, and then somebody else learns as a result of your epiphany, if you will. So what are you picking up here that is a new central point of focus for you leaving our meeting today? Anyone want to go?
I'll go. Adding my contacts to my pipeline and building my network, and also watching more, learning more, because everything is there. You can't fail. I mean, you have the videos, Leroy, YouTube. And so lately here, I've been focusing on those to get the job done, instead of picking up the phone. Hey, I need to know how to do this, da, 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 da. Well, it took me a minute to figure it out, but it's all right there, basically. But for me, the numbers and building my network, my database.
Thank you for that. What else? I know this audio is working because Dolores has been talking to us
the whole time. I'm getting a lot of practice, Brian. I was with the host yesterday on a 4-hour Zoom, and we role played.
All right, that's what I'm talking about. Yes.
For me, it was just that systems are skill building. It's something that it was kind of convicting today to hear it, because I know it's in my head that that's something I need to spend time in. I need to work on it, but it always just falls to the bottom of the list, because we got to make contacts with our clients. We have to do that. There's a lot of things on our list to do, and that always ends up last. So that was, it's motivation for me to spend some time in that, and that it is a skill. So.
Love that. Yeah, absolutely. One more. Cindy, Cynthia, the other Cynthia, Jenny, Ernesto, Keenan. Just hanging out today? Just eavesdropping? Mike, Pearl, Tasik?
Well, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
So the other thing that I got was, it's okay to build your business around what your purpose is. I've had many great conversations with Sarah, and to kind of see how she does certain things. And, I love that her focus is always like, this is my priority. Like this is what my number one is. And I build my business around that. And I think sometimes, we forget that, and keeping that in mind, putting that in your calendar so that you do block that time out while you're still generating business.
I love that. Yeah, thank you for that. Great aha. Great one.
I have a,
There you are, Pearl.
sorry, that was a mistake on the operation, my
All good.
computer. Okay.
All good.
Anyway, I was trying to add one more, the skill building. That's the high tech. There's a lot of social media, lots of digital stuff that we need to concentrate a lot to learning. This is really a future trend on this business.
Yeah,
That's it.
absolutely. And thank you for that. And absolutely, I know Alexandra's going to be working with us on that. So grateful. So with that being said, everybody, appreciate you. I think this meeting, Hector, you want to close us out, man? Give us some words of encouragement. Come on, man. You've been dropping some knowledge all morning, man. Come on, take us out.
I don't really have it. You know what? The only thing I was going to say, I think, is you mentioned database. And I was just, before you even said that, I think there's a lot of agents that don't have a database. And they really need to have a database. You really can't have a business without one. So if anybody's out there that doesn't know how to work their database or have one, that's number one.
Yeah.
I think that
Love
would
that.
be it. But I think we all need to, and I've said this before, we need to work to live, not live to work. Okay.
That's it. I got nothing for that. See you on the next one. All right, everyone. Thank you. Be well. Look out for the updates. We're going to create a calendar around this, and we may even color code it around like the leverage curriculum, just so that way folks know, all right, leverage, right? And those are the classes that we're going to sprinkle in. So I think we can expect 2 to 3 classes a month around any one of these topics. There's a lot here. Bear with us. We're working to move as fast as we can on this and make it as yeah, right. And as we help you build systems, we've got to build systems to be able to help you build systems. So well said. All right, be well. Have a great rest of your day. And we have the next session, I believe, for segments. If we want to do a quick plug, I believe it's going to be luxury, and that's going to start at 12 o'clock. All right, so stay tuned. Same link, same place, 12 o'clock.